don't know about Gainage, you better get to know about Gainage. It's about gains in all aspects of life, not just in fitness, but whatever you be doing, you better gain in it, baby. An addiction, what is it? Oh, sugar. You better have a severe addiction to progress. Progress in any aspect of life. Progression is what we all about. Progression is what we want. Progression is what we do, baby. That's how we roll.
My nigga, I be round cruising in my city. Nigga in my city. 20 bands on me, how they wanna get me. How they wanna get me. Cause I grew up on the corner, I was serving out them junkies. And that's the shit that made me. I grew up on the corner, I was serving out them junkies. And that's the shit that made me. We out in my jealous, I told you.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Now yes, I'm wearing a hoodie today because my hair is just not really working with me right now, so I just put it back and just put a hoodie. But as you can see, I'm wearing my Gainage apparel hoodie today. You guys know that I basically rock Gainage like every single day of my life, and obviously, as you know by now, my navy hoodie is finally out. I need to wear my navy hoodie in one of my videos. I don't know why I haven't done so already. My navy hoodie is already out. If you want the NISSYTEE navy hoodie, remember you can get one with 20% off by typing in NISSYTEE 20 in the checkout bit, basically, to get 20% off of the hoodies. So go out, make sure you get that. Okay. But anyway, today is all about practical A-level advice. I've had so many people message me, email me, asking me to make a video about good A-level advice and just general advice with exams or anything like that. And I got this particular email from Kwaku Ghana. Hi Kwaku. Who emailed me, and from this email I was like, do you know what, loads of you have been asking me for this, so let me actually make this video. So this is what Kwaku said. Kwaku said, really love your videos, thank you so much babes. I was wondering if you could give me some advice. I'm currently doing my A2 in economic psychology and economics. Obviously you're doing something in something else, but so economic psychology and another subject. Recently I'm struggling to stick to my timetable I've made at home. I revise in my room, but I can't stare at the clock, otherwise I find I don't really pay attention to my actual revision, and sometimes I feel kind of bored when revising, since I just reread my notes, read them aloud and rewrite my notes. Do you have any advice how I can stick to my timetable? Could you do an A-level experience video? So yeah, and so thank you in advance and God bless. Thank you so much Kwaku for sending in your email. First I'm going to start by giving my own A-level experience, and then I'm going to go into talking about some advice and kind of like my top tips as to how you can revise and things that will actually be able to help you. So in terms of my own A-level experience, for AS, which is obviously the first year of A-levels, I studied English literature, media, sociology and French. Absolutely despised French, hated it. And yes, people are gonna be like, you're Congolese, don't you speak French? No, it's not the same thing, okay? Just because I'm Congolese, by the way, I speak Lingala, as I've mentioned in other videos. I speak Lingala. Yes, there are some words that are French in there, but it is not the same as speaking French. Let's just get that myth thrown out the window. That's gone. Now I'm happy. So I did that. I dropped that in my second year, so I ended up doing English literature, media studies and sociology. Now a lot of people thought that I was mad and I was crazy when I realized that I could apply for Oxford or Cambridge, and said, why on earth would I drop French? French is more academic. Why would I keep something like media studies? And even when I went online, media studies was said to be blacklisted, and that no one either from Oxford or Cambridge will take on a student who studies media studies. Like, you might as well just not apply if you're going to study that. I was like, well listen, I enjoy media, the media industry is what I want to get into, therefore I'm going to continue doing media, and I'm going to drop the subject that I absolutely hate instead of continuing it just for the sake of, oh, you're not going to be able to go to this uni, because I did not care. I was like, listen, I'm so sorry, but that's what I want to do, and I know that I'm going to be miserable for another year if I continue French. So dropped French, did my first year, got 4 A's. So then the second year I got 3 A's. But in terms of A-levels, a lot of people say that jumping from GCSEs to A-levels is a very, very big jump. Personally speaking, I didn't feel as though it was that big of a jump, only because anyone that knows me knows that I have always taken my academia very, very seriously. So I worked very hard. Even when it came to GCSEs, I was always the person revising, working, pushing, putting a lot of effort. So it was, for me, it was exactly the same thing during A-levels, but just in more depth. So my experience with it wasn't too bad. I did feel obviously the difference, because I, like, instead of having folders that were about this big, I ended up having folders that were like this big from just notes and stuff like that, and it got a lot more independent, where I had to go out and do things by myself, and I wasn't spoon-fed as much as obviously GCSEs. However, one thing that I did realize about A-levels that was completely different to GCSEs was, if you don't ask for the help, people won't really give you the help, because they'll just assume that you're getting on with things, especially when you get to A2. Like by A2, people expect you to kind of like know what you're doing. So if you don't go out and say, listen, miss, madam, teacher, whatever, I need help with this particular area of the subject because I'm finding so and so difficult, no one's really gonna put their leg out for you and be like, oh yeah, so how are you finding this, how are you finding that? So one thing that I definitely suggest is, if you are struggling with a particular area, don't feel ashamed, don't feel like, oh, everyone else seems fine, I should be doing just as well. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Just go and ask for the help that you need, because you might end up asking a question that other people are thinking but are too scared to say for whatever reason. So that's definitely one thing that I suggest. But personally speaking, A-levels were not too bad for me. They were quite difficult. They were long, a lot of revision, a lot of late nights, a lot of working really, really hard and tirelessly, which was a bit of a struggle, but it wasn't anything that, obviously I'm here now, so anything that I couldn't really handle, but it took a lot of work. So there definitely is a difference, but it's a difference that you can cope with, and as long as you space out your time, then you are 100% gonna do fine. So now, of course, it is that time where I give you guys a bit of advice. So obviously there's loads of advice out there that people can give to you, and there's loads of advice that even I was thinking of, but I managed to whittle it down to 5. Yes, 5 of my top tips that I feel really helped me while I was studying, and that I'm sure will help you while you're studying as well, especially you Kreku. I hope that this will be able to help you. First tip would be, make revision fun or different. Now I know that sounds like such a nerdy thing to say, and oh yeah, obviously you'll find studying really fun. Okay, I am a nerd, I do enjoy learning, but even I find it boring. But what I mean by this is, do something different. Like, you don't have to feel as though the only way to revise is, you know, the traditional way. I have to read, copy out notes, reread, rewrite, or put it on cards, and that's it, that's the end of it. No, it doesn't have to be like that. Some ways that I made revision fun were, for example, number 1, when I was studying French and I was literally finding it the most difficult thing in the entire world, I listened to French music. I went on the internet and I started listening to French rap, loads of different French artists. I started watching loads more French movies. I was watching French comedies. So I'd make sure I dedicated like at least maybe once a week, when I knew that a certain program would come on and it was in French, I'd make sure I go and watch it, because I wouldn't be sitting there just rewriting or reading from a book, but I'll be in front of a TV screen, yes, but I'll still be absorbing French, and I'll be absorbing the language and absorbing certain phrases and tenses and different things like that. And other things that I also did was become a teacher in my own home. For example, if I had an exam, I still do this to this very, very day. So even with my uni stuff, I know that when I had my exams for a particular area of English, I made like a massive like table with like loads of dates and stuff and different, because obviously you have to learn context as well. And then I sit down with my sisters, I literally take them, I'm like, okay, you guys are gonna come with me for an hour and I'm gonna talk to you guys about this. And then I sit them down on my bed in my bedroom, and I literally become a teacher, and I just start explaining things to them and explaining all these different things. I allow them to ask questions and I answer their questions, and it's actually really good fun. I know, again, it sounds so nerdy, but it's such good fun. Not only are you learning so much, but also my siblings are learning. They're learning things that they obviously are probably too young to learn, but that they still might find very, very interesting. So that's definitely another way. But try to be creative with the way you learn. The second tip that I would give to you is switch off all devices. Capital letters I wrote. Switch off your phone. And this is an addition, lock your door. Sometimes in order for you to revise properly, especially in the 21st century where these These phones can be the bane of life because there's constantly someone messaging you about something, someone liking a picture on Instagram, someone @ing you on Twitter talking about something. There's always something going on in here or on your laptop or whatever. But sometimes when you're revising, just say to yourself, okay, 45 minutes or an hour, I'm going to just switch off my phone. Or even if you can do more, if you can revise for long periods of time, like myself, I know that I can revise sometimes for 2, 3, maybe 4 hours straight. However long you take, just say to yourself, I'm going to switch off my phone. No one's going to talk to me. I'm not going to say a word to anybody. I'm just going to be in the zone with my work. And also the locking your door part, sometimes you just have to lock your door and shut the world off. Like just say, bye guys, I'm not talking to any of you, I'm revising. My tip number 3, make a realistic timetable. Don't try and do everything. One of the worst things that you could possibly do, and one thing that you said, Kwaku, is that you made a timetable. You're struggling to, you know, meet up with your timetable, and that might be because you put too much on there. It's not really realistic. Be realistic. Set a timetable that you know you can meet, that you can actually do the things that you set out to do. So don't say to yourself, okay, today, Mondays, I'm gonna do 10 hours of reading. On Tuesday, I'm gonna make sure I do 50 hours of so and so and so. Like, that's just not realistic, and you're only gonna end up being angry and upset with yourself that you didn't meet your timetable. Make something realistic, something that you can actually meet, and something that you can look at, cross things off and say, do you know what? I've achieved something today. That's the most important thing. And I think that goes straight into number 4. Do not cram. Revising over a longer period is better because you become more confident in what you're saying. I feel like cramming just doesn't do the job. It puts a lot of pressure on you. It makes you feel very, very anxious, I think, because you're constantly thinking, oh my gosh, do I remember this thing? Do I remember that thing? Do I remember this thing? And I just don't think it's helpful. Personally, I've just never been someone that can cram, especially now where I'm doing a degree. Cramming I just think doesn't work because you have so much to learn. If you cram, that's just gonna be a whole hell of knowledge that you're gonna have to work through and sift through throughout the exam, and that's just it's
giving me anxiety thinking about it.
And my 5th and final tip that I'm gonna give to you today is try revising in different places. One day you might wanna try the library, one day you might wanna try your living room, one day you might wanna try your bedroom. Sometimes a change of scenery is good. One thing that I really found with myself was that revising in the same place every single day got a bit overwhelming for me because I felt like I was associating that particular place with work, and so that gave me a bit of anxiety, like, oh my gosh, like, okay, I need to do work. And so when I didn't, I got really nervous and really upset with myself and really angry and blah blah blah, all these emotions. But definitely sometimes change up a bit. It can help you to just put everything into perspective and make you look at things in a different way. So yes guys, those were my top 5 tips to help you hopefully get through your A-levels, whether that be AS or A2. I really do hope that this video was useful to you. Thank you so much for sending in your email, Kwaku. And again, if you have any suggestions for things that you want to see on my channel or any advice that you want me to give, please do message me, Snapchat, email, Twitter, Facebook. Just let me know wherever and I'll try and respond to you in this way. But thank you so much for watching. Good luck to everyone that's doing their A-levels or even just doing any type of exams, whether that be uni or whatever. And I'll see you again in my next video. Stay beautiful.
Nigga in my city, 20 bands on me. My nigga, I be round cruising in my city. Nigga in my city, 20 bands on me, heard they wanna get me. Heard they wanna get me, cause I grew up on the corner, I was serving all them junkies. And that's the shit that made me. I grew up on the corner, I was serving all them junkies. And that's the shit that made me. We out in my jealous, I told you I dab with Giuseppe's on feet. I brought out the rollie chinchilla, I told them the weather's on. Word to my mother, I had racks up in the duffel. Word to my pack, it never changed, no shuffle. Take a bitch on splash, just sim up in my puddle. I'ma keep on coming hard like I'm stuck up in a brothel. Oh man.